everyone, my name is Rhonda Robson and welcome to my Fluid Art Acrylic Pouring channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. So today I am going to be creating one long how to do acrylic pouring abstract art. I just really wanted to come and help those of you who want to start this awesome, cool thing that helps me relax. I'm a CEO of an organization and my time is spent in boardrooms and in meetings and working with budgets and staff development and creating new ways to do something. And so I love just being able to come home, be able to put my apron on and get some paint out and just not think about work. And this has helped me to ground myself. So I hope I can show you how to not be too stressed out about all the different things pouring art is, because it can be so confusing. I realize that. But just take a little bit off at a time, watch a little bit of a video, learn a little bit more, paint, learn, paint, learn, paint, learn. And soon you're going to know more than you ever thought you could in this awesome acrylic pouring art. All right, well, today we're going to talk about the many different techniques that there are, and there's way more than we're going to talk about today in pouring art. That's what makes this type of art so unique and so awesome, is because there's so many different techniques, so many different ways that you can do the different types of pours. So I'm going to start today with more of the basics, because as you're learning, you're going to want to have as many successes as you can have to keep you motivated to move continually on. Realizing there's going to be a lot of scrapping, a lot of allowing the canvas to dry and painting back over it. But the cool thing is, it's only paint, right? I get that there's money. But if you make a mistake, just start over again. Don't get too discouraged. We've all had those days where nothing worked out. And then we've had those days that everything seemed to go our way. So what I want you to do is I want you to focus in on making small incremental successes and allowing the mistakes that you do or the canvases that you don't like to be things that you learn from. So today we're going to just talk about all different types of techniques. Okay, so let me start by telling you how this video is going to go. I'm going to describe a technique, and then I'm going to show you a clip of how I've done that technique and even a picture of the end result. Then I'm going to continue on to more and more techniques. The reason why I wanted to do that was that way you can look at a technique and go, that's what I want to learn how to do it. Then I have links to those videos that you can go watch the full video on. And in those videos, we'll tell you the different ratios of paint and water, or the medium that you're going to utilize, and the different colors that I utilized in those videos. All right, so I'm not going to describe the different consistencies. I'm just going to talk about the actual technique. Then I'm going to show you in a video. I'm going to link that video so if you want more information. All right, well, let's get started. So the first technique that I want to show you today is just a straight pour. So you take your cup, you layer the colors, and we'll talk about how to layer the colors in the video, but you layer your colors in the cup and then you pour directly straight on the canvas or the wood or whatever surface that you're pouring on. That is a straight pour. Well, let me show you what that looks like. Just gonna pour it straight in the middle. Here we go. So the next one that I'd like to show you is the straight pour, but traveling. So you layer your cup just like you did with your straight pour, and instead of just pouring directly on the canvas in one spot, you move your cup and travel that pour. Then you tilt the canvas just like you did in the straight pour, which I don't think I said in my description last time, but you tilt the canvas and you get the paint to stretch over top of all the corners and the sides. So let me show you what I mean in this next one. Start up here in this corner. The dirty pour is very similar to a straight pour, but you really don't need to worry about how you layer your colors, because the dirty pour, you're just going to do all kinds of different things. And actually you can use multiple different colors. I've actually used excess paint that I've scraped up and poured on top of the canvas, and then I had a cup that had layered like gold and stuff, and I poured that on too. And it's just a dirty pour. You just pour wherever, just you don't care how things are layered. And then you stretch the paint just like in any other fluid art process. Let me show you that one next. I still think I should do a dirty pour, but the dirty pour, I'm going to just take my paint and just put it everywhere. The ring pour is a really neat effect, and some people call it a tree ring pour because it shows like the rings of like a tree. So you layer your cup similar to what you did with your straight pour, and I'll show you in this next clip how I layered my cups. I'll show a picture of the layering of my cup. And then you actually get close to the canvas, you tilt your cup, and you make a circular motion. Now you can go in the same direction or you can go in the opposite direction. But as the paint comes out of your cup, you're gonna see that it makes rings and they kind of go out, out, and out. As you finish it, you're gonna wanna make your rings or your circular motion slightly smaller. So not just huge ring pours like this. You can do that, but you need to go into the middle and get as slow as less of a movement as possible to allow the paint to create the rings. So let me show you that next. Okay, here we go. Byeee. Super cool. Got a lot of paint on there though. So let's stretch it over here. So I've gone in a circle to try to keep it so that the weight of the paint goes in this direction I'm wanting it to go, to keep the lines like that. Corner a little bit, come back. I kind of like it right there. So this next one I did, and I do a lot of, especially with my ocean scenes that I do. I love the ocean, I love the beach, and so I do a lot of ocean scenes. And I layer my cup just like you do with a straight pour, depending on what colors you're wanting to put together. And then you take the cup, you either flip it onto the canvas, or you can take the canvas and put it on top of the cup and then flip the cup. But then once it's on the canvas, you let it sit for just a few minutes, allowing the paint to fall, and then you raise the cup up. Now you can raise the cup straight up, or you can raise it and drag it, but that's what a flip cup is. And then you tilt the canvas and stretch the paint again. So let me show you that one. And these next ones are kind of some of my favorite, because I love the ocean scene. So I hope you like these examples. Okay, here we go. So we're gonna do the second one. So the first, of course, is the sand. So we're gonna flip that over right there. Ocean one. Ocean 2. And then I'm gonna put drizzles of this pink and red flash through this area because it just didn't have enough in my mind. So hopefully that will help. There's that one and that one there. A flip cup of blues and greens, another flip cup of blues and greens, and then another one. So I think I'll do two up here like this, and then I've got a brown, gold, white. Actually, I'm gonna do them all at the same. I'm gonna do them all on the same, at the same. You know what I'm talking about, on the top or the bottom. Okay. So this is how I'm gonna do that. So let's go ahead and flip. And I do not have silicone in any of this. There might have been a tad, I had accidentally put a little bit of yellow or gold in here. So there might be a little bit in the gold that I didn't realize that I had a mixture of. So these are pretty full, so I don't have to do too much to them in the sense of letting them, the paint fall. And I'm going to turn this. I should have done it on the other side. Very carefully. There we go. So you can see that. And then again, no silicone in this, but there's cells popping up. I do have house paint. As you've noticed that as I'm talking about other different type of techniques. They get a little bit more technical as you're discovering your artistry within this abstract art, right? This next one is called a Dutch pour, and it looks simple enough, but it is a tough one to master. And I know Renska, she has mastered Dutch pours, and I'll make sure I put a link to her channel within this video as well down below. So a Dutch pour, you put a layer of paint, or we call it a pillow paint, on the canvas, and it can be multiple colors, it can be one single color, it doesn't matter. And then you put a little bit of paint to add color to it. So back behind here, that is a Dutch pour. And so you put a little bit of paint, and then you take the pillow paint and then you flood it into the other paint using a blow dryer or any other type of blowing apparatus. You can use your mouth if you really wanted to, or a straw. But I use a hair dryer, and I flood the paint over top of the colors, and then I blow it out. Okay, so that is what a typical Dutch pour looks like, but you can also do a non-flooding Dutch pour, and that is just to put the color on top of the pillow and then spread the color over top without flooding the paint. So let me show you a couple examples of a Dutch pour next. Now I'm going to do my paints again. Here is the bronze. Here is the yellow ochre. Here is the pearl deep brown. Here is the phthalo green. Here is the pearl marmalade. Whoa, pearl marmalade. And the crimson red. So I'm going to put a little bit of this. I already have a little bit on the sides, but I'm going to put a little bit more, especially right here. See, it's pretty thin through there. And we're going to flood it, which means you take the white paint or the base paint over top. You're going to flood it. And you can see how this Amsterdam white, just the cells that come from it, it's just, I love it. So, okay, I'm going to torch one more time. And then I'm going to blow it out. This next one is one of my favorites, and the reason why it's one of my favorites is because it saved a number of my different pours, and it's called a swipe. So if I've had a bad Dutch pour, which I've had many of those, or maybe I've had a bad ring pour, maybe it got all wonky or wobbly when I was tilting the canvas, I took an apparatus, whether it's a tool like these tools here, or it was a piece of plastic or a paper towel, and I just swiped the whole canvas. And it's really a cool effect. So there's many different types of swipe, and I'm going to show you a number of them in a row, but let me just kind of tell you the ones that I'm going to show you. So I'm going to show you a side swipe, so it goes from one side to the other, and I do that all the time with what I call leftover paint or lot paint. And so I do it from one side to the other, and it just pops all these cool colors out. The other one is a center swipe, so you could do the same thing and pull your paints across the center in two different directions. So it's come this way or that way or this way and that way. But the cool thing is, the thing about the swipe is that you do need to have a top layer paint. So wherever you swipe, whether it's the center or the side, you're going to put a ribbon of paint. I typically use like a metallic white or a black or a metallic gold or a silver, and then I swipe over the whole thing because you want that paint to kind of cover and then pop up the paint that's underneath. So you've got your side to side swipe or top to bottom swipe, you've got your center swipe, and then you've got your multiple center swipe, which is something that is right there. So I've got multiple different swipes on that, but it's still a center swipe. So it's pulling paint, little puddles of paint, and you pull it with a piece of plastic or a tool like this. You can use this as well. Then the next one that I want to show you that you'll see is very similar to this kind of a one where it's multiple different puddles, but it's a puddle in the center, and it's still a center swipe, but it's not like cut in half center. It's from that puddle and you swipe out, almost making like a pinwheel effect or a flower. It's really cool. So I'll show you that one too. And then the last one, which is way more technical than these other ones, and it takes a lot of thought process and you need to think through it, is a patch swipe. So I've done a few of those in different types of works. I did one for my husband for his 50th birthday, and it's 50 years of color, and so it's like all kinds of color. And then I've done another one where it's just different colors of the, you know, kind of in a color combination. So let me show you all these different swipes in a row, and then you can choose which one you like the best. There we go. Hopefully this looks good. This technique is called the funnel pour. So you're gonna need a funnel, and it can be any size funnel. The smaller ones work fine, the bigger ones work fine. It just depends on how big of a canvas you have. And you can do the funnel pour in multiple different ways. So you can actually put the funnel on the canvas after you've layered the canvas with paint. So you're making a pillow, and you put that on there, and then you just put multiple different colors of paint in it, and then you just lift the funnel up, and you can travel it to, or you can just do it right there in one spot. Or you can layer a cup and just pour it into the funnel that way and do the same thing. And let me show you this clip. So this next technique is utilizing something you have in the kitchen. It's a colander. And the best colander pours really are the ones that you have a colander that is, it can be metal, but I've seen the plastic ones work really well, and that have a lot of holes in it, but not so many holes that it's like sifting, okay? You want it to be like a true colander, which has holes in it, and then at the bottom it has holes. So you can pour paint in there any direction, any way you want to do it, and then you just lift the colander up, and then you stretch your paint like you do any other pour. So let me show you how I did that one. So this next one is super fun, and you're gonna go, no, Rhonda, I don't want to do this, but it is super fun. Any pour that you have, a ring pour, a Dutch pour, whatever, swipe, it can be wrecked, all right? Like you wreck it. And I utilize all different types of tools. This happens to be one of them. I've even used a comb before, but you wreck it, and then you tilt the canvas, and it's really cool. And so I know sometimes we'll put those ring pours in our mind. We're gonna be going, okay, I'm gonna do a wreck a ring pour, and I'm gonna do a ring pour, and it's so good you don't want to wreck it, but I just try it. It's really cool. So you can do that with any pour out there. You can wreck it. All right, let me show you a couple of those. The next one is similar to the funnel pour. It's an open cup. So what you do is you just take a cup like this and you cut the bottom off. You take the bottom and you put it away, and then it's open, right? So then I put my pillow of paint on the surface of the canvas. I put my open cup in, and then I can pour my colors. Now I can just take each individual color and pour it, or I can layer my cup and pour. But as the cup starts to float on your pillow paint, the paint will go up underneath and start coming up. It's a really cool effect, especially if you want kind of like a galaxy type look. This is one of those really cool ones that you can do a galaxy pour with. Funnel one is also really good for a galaxy pour. This next technique is newer to me. I've just started doing them. It's actually taking paint, and it's a thicker consistency, and I make stripes in different colors across the canvas, okay? Then I take an apparatus, a tool, any type of tool that you want, and I create lines in it. I blend it kind of, and it's called the zigzag pour. So I just zigzag my apparatus. I can also do waves. I can just make all kinds of designs in it with any type of a point apparatus that you have. So zigzag is next. Let me show you that. Similar to a ring pour, there's something that's called a wiggle pour. So it's the exact same layering of the cup, the same thickness of the paint as a ring pour, but instead of going in a circular motion, you just wiggle the paint going back and forth as it like folds on top of itself. It reminds me of like that candy that kind of folds on top of itself. So like a ribbon almost, right? So it goes back and forth, and it makes a really cool effect. But that's called a wiggle pour. So let me show you that. So in this next technique, I want to show you, it's called a kiss technique. So I have done it where I've typically layered it like I'm doing a ring pour, and maybe I've done like ice colors on one side, like all cool colors, and fire colors or warm colors on the other. And then you actually bring those two cups that are layered and you kiss the paint above the canvas. So for example, I'll just use these two cups. You actually connect the two cups. They're not quite touching because the paint has to come out, and you just allow it to go down. The key to this is when the paint is going down, that if the cups are touching but the paint is not touching itself, it's not a true kiss. So the paint actually has to come together and paint and kiss each other in order to come down. So let me show you a couple of different ways that I've done a kiss paint pour. Okay, here we go. Okay, so in the same theme of kissing, let's talk about balloon kiss. So it is exactly what it is. It's using a balloon, and you actually kiss the paint. So when I create whatever it is I'm going to create on my canvas, so I can use it as a flip cup, I can do a ring pour, I can do a Dutch pour if I wanted to, I can do any type of a pour I want. And then I have to let the paint dry for a little bit. So it's like a half hour, 45 minutes to an hour, depending on how much paint you have on your canvas. Then you take your balloon after it's started to dry, and you actually, it's a dry balloon, and you just press or kiss the paint that's on the canvas, and you release it up. So the key is not to smash it. Now, there is a balloon smash, and that's actually kind of cool too. But this is just really just a little kiss. And it works really well if you use, if you have some cells and you kiss in a cluster of cells. It makes almost like a little fire burst or a flower. It's very pretty. So I'll show you that clip in just a second. But we now have paint on this balloon. You can also do a balloon smash where I have paint that I maybe have on a surface someplace, and I smash my balloon on it, and I can transpose that onto another canvas. So maybe it's dry, maybe it's not. But then it makes different. It almost makes a medallion look. Okay, it's cool, but it's different than the paint kiss. So the balloon paint kiss versus the balloon paint smash are different. And I will show you both of those next. As when we talked about with the balloon smash, you're transposing paint onto something else. Well, now you can do a transposed paint using anything. So I have actually used like toilet paper rolls or the cup, the ring of the cup, and I will take some paint and I'll just kind of pour it on a plate or something, and I just put my cup in it so that it has multiple different colors. So I just kind of spread the paint everywhere. You don't need it to be any rhyme or reason. Or you can have it all one color. It's whatever you want. Then you take the cup, put it in the paint, and then you take it to the dry canvas or the wet. It depends on what you're looking for. I typically do it when it's dry, and I transpose that onto the canvas, and it makes a nice little circle, and it's really cool. So let me show you how to do that as well. And you can do that with anything, right? You can do it with a cup, you can do it with circles, you can do it with, if you find squares, even cookie cutters, that type of stuff. But the transposing of paint to the canvas is kind of a cool effect as well. So let me show you that. And then I'm just going to put this off to the side right here. Hopefully you can still see that. See? Yep. Okay. And then I'll dip my cup in there, and then I'll transpose it to over here. So I just take it and I dip it and then I transpose it. So let's see. This next swipe that I want to talk about, I accidentally came upon. I did a large canvas and I did a Dutch pour, didn't like it. I was kind of trying to make an ocean scene. Didn't like the Dutch, it was a dirty Dutch, so it wasn't necessarily I was flooding the paint, but I was just blowing paint everywhere to kind of get like a feathery look. It didn't look good. It was just all muddy and mixed. So then I swiped it from the side all the way over, and it was a large canvas. It was a 3x4 canvas. And the next morning when I came back to it, I noticed some cracks, and I'm like, how can I fix these cracks? Because I really liked the painting. So I took my plastic tool and I just tried to like go across it to kind of cover up those cracks, but it did this really cool texture effect. And I absolutely loved it. And it's probably one of my favorite paintings, and it's an accidental happy mistake, if you will. It's so cool. So I call it a dry swipe. And I've tried to master that. I've done it a number of different times, and it takes a lot of patience to allow the painting to sit and dry so that you can actually get the texture as you're swiping a little bit of the wet paint over top of the dry paint. But let me show you what I mean in this next clip. Okay, so how I got these marks is I did not use a paintbrush. And there'll be some other things that I'm gonna do to this piece. But for right now, I just kind of wanted to show you how I kind of created what looks like from a distance waves. So this was a swipe, and it was a multi-layered, so it had dark and then lighter blue, and then on up to pink. And I was gonna do it a certain way, and I ended up swiping it. So I changed everything up. But how I have gotten these little streaky things, so I let this dry for 3 or 4 hours, and then similar to like a balloon smash, I took this piece of plastic, and I can clean it. I haven't cleaned it since I did this, but I just went over the top, and it was like a jerky motion because some places were white or wet and some places were dry. And so I just took it clear across, and then I would take it this way clear across, and so on and so forth. And then that actually got some of the lighter blue into the darker blue area, and some of the white into the darker blue area, as well as some of the pink. So that's how I did this, and it was really cool. So it's very similar to the balloon smash, where you want to let your paint dry for a while prior to doing this. And so then it adds texture. This is all dry right now, but this adds texture as well as depth to it too as well. So kind of what I'm looking at is like over here, there must be a sun someplace coming through to see this white, this white, this white here, and a little bit of that kind of reflects. So anyway, all right, well, that's what I wanted to show you today. All right, bye for now.
Okay, everyone, I got new gloves. They're kind of small and they're black. Anyway, so this has been drying overnight. It's still wet, so we're gonna take a piece of plastic and just kind of gently go across it to make some texture. So that's my plan. And I think I'm gonna use a little bit bigger one, this one here. And so yeah, so let's try it. Let's try it up here first. I'm gonna use a smaller one. This one dug into it. It's got a little bit of a crease right there. So it kind of dug into it right there, and I don't want that. Oh, where'd it go? There we go.
This next pour is a combination of painting and a pour. Okay, so it's called a pendulum. A pendulum pour is pretty tricky and very technical. So you have to be able to have a place to have the pendulum swing. You have to have enough room. It needs to be able to swing without kind of in a jerky motion. And so you need to make sure the pendulum is kind of moving on itself, that it's a fluid movement. Now, depending on what you use for your pendulum and how you kind of set things up will give you different designs. And so I am not the master of pendulums, but I do a lot of them. And my design is usually circular, and it can be a little square-ish a little bit, but I like the more circular pendulums. Pendulums have a little bit more technical difficulty, if you will. You need to have something that weighs the pendulum down so that the movement is nice and smooth. You need to be able to have something to pour your paint in, or to have your paint in, and then it needs to have air to it so that it forces the paint down. The hole needs to be thin enough so it doesn't come out in big globs, but the paint needs to be thin enough to get through the hole. So see, a lot of different things. So I'll make sure I link a number of my videos for the pendulum swing so that you can get that. But the thing I love about the pendulums, just about every pendulum I have done over a canvas that either cracked or maybe had texture to it, and then I added more texture to it, and it is awesome. And so I love doing pendulums over art that maybe didn't work out the way I'd want it to do. So that's what I really love about the pendulums. And I love their preciseness, and I love their sporadicness. I mean, it's actually kind of cool that you can have one pendulum that's super smooth and then another one that has like drops and dashes, and they both look super cool. So anyway, try a pendulum. Here's a couple clips for you so you can see what I mean. The next one is something that I have not mastered. I haven't done very many of them. It's called the bloom technique, and it's really a webbing effect, and it takes a lot of different materials to do that. So I'm going to give you a couple examples of the way I've done similar to bloom techniques. Okay, so the last experiment today is with white, and I want to utilize the conditioner, Minwax conditioner. So here's my pillow. Let's get that down there. Nice and thick. A little bit more. Then I got my cup. I'm just gonna do a dirty pour. That blue and that yellow just make it green. Okay, so this is the conditioner of the white. Let's move this back in the center. Oops, I got it off centered. There we go. Let's put this in the center then. Let's blow that out. So that's the wood conditioner one. Look at all of that. So I'm wondering if with the black one, when I did it, if I forgot to stir it. And maybe I put too much. I don't know, but look at all that lacing going on in there. That looks good. So now I'm gonna let it just kind of funnel back into the center, and then we'll spin it, okay? This over here didn't get much lacing, so I'm gonna go ahead and torch. Just get the air bubbles out. But this looks really nice. Really good. I like it. Okay, let me put it in the center more over here. Okay. Ready? Very nice. Love that. I don't want that going off. How do I get this there? Okay. Very nice. Very nice. Let's get the paint over here off to the side a little bit so that way spins better. Yeah, that looks really nice. So the wood conditioner definitely has a really cool look to it. I'm gonna try the black again, just to double check to see if I didn't do something right on it, because it feels like it should have been like this as well, right? It feels like that. But it's just really, you have to take the paint and you have to go across the top of the color. So whatever you use, you just have to go across the top. And that's what gets you the lacing too, and the colors coming between it. So yeah, I really like that one. All right, let's do some right in this area here. way for a little bit. And just take it this way. So I'm hoping to maybe do a little bit of this up above with a little bit more pink. We'll see. This is looking pretty cool. What do you think? I don't know, I like this whole thing. One more kind of area over here I'd like to do. I really like how this is moving like that. Super cool. this is like too much across. Like all of this is kind of rockiness. So I'm gonna do something right in here. Okay, so I'm done with the blues and the greens, I think. I think this is pretty cool. You still have the horizon up here. I'll probably try to make that a little bit straighter again. But yeah, this looks pretty cool. So now I'm going to try to come up here and do some pink with a little bit of the webbing of the white. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But this, I like it. You can kind of see a little bit of the sand. One of the things that I think what I'll do is I'll just kind of take a little bit of this white here and kind of make a, I don't know. I like it. I don't want to mess with it right now. So. Say that and I mess with it, right? Just kind of give it a little bit more movement down there. Okay. So this one I want to talk about, I haven't done, but there are a number of people, it seems like all over Facebook, that are doing them. So you take any type of pour, so like a ring pour or a dirty pour or a straight pour, and you wreck it, but instead of using an apparatus, you utilize a marble, and the marble just glides through it, and you just put the marble on it. I haven't done that one yet, so I don't have an example of what that looks like, but I hope to have that on my YouTube channel soon. So one of my favorite ones that I've done is I've done a ring pour, and then I blew some of it out into like a Dutch pour. So I didn't flood any paint over it, but I blew the paint out over top of itself. And one's right here, but it's super cool. It's kind of like an explosion effect. I really like that. So you can take any pour technique and add it to another pour technique while they're both wet and create some really cool texture. So let me show you a couple examples of taking two different types of techniques and adding it together. But you can do anything. Sky's the limit. You can layer different techniques. So for example, I did a Dutch pour and then I let it dry. And then I did a patch swipe on top of that, let it dry. Then I did a transpose, let it dry. And then I felt like it still needed something else. So I took some paint and I kind of flung it. And so it just really depends on what you're looking for and what makes you happy. So just know that you can do anything, any color. Sky's the limit when it comes to abstract art. So the last thing I want to talk about is the sky's the limit. You're an artist. You know what looks good to you. And just trial and error, try to do different things. That's what I love about acrylic paint pouring. I love it. I hope you learned something in this video. If you have any questions about any of the techniques, please let me know down below and I'd be happy to answer those for you. And if you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing and clicking that notification bell. All right, well, thanks for joining me. Have a great day. We'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. Bye.
Thanks for watching. And if you're new to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell so that way you can get notified when I have a new video up. Thank you for watching and have a great day.